Hey, what's up? Welcome back. So today I'm going to be swapping out my wheels and tires, and then I'm going to swap out my shocks and then take off these limiting straps. So stay tuned. Alright, so there's going to be these two bolts right here, or nut and bolt right here. That's going to take off the bottom of the shock. And then when we look up above here, you can see there's those two bolts right there. That will take off the top of the shock. So I gotta undo those right there, and then undo this, and then take off the limiting strap. You could probably do the shocks with the wheels and tires on. Probably make it a lot easier with it off, but I need to swap out my wheels and tires anyways, so that's the main reason why I'm going to be taking them off. So I'm going to go ahead and get this wheel off, and then I'll go ahead and show you guys my next step. But once again, those two bolts up there, I believe they're 13s, and then this guy right here. Alright, so I have the wheel off now, and I'm going to go ahead and take off this limiting strap. It's 19, not that that's ever going to be the same for you if you for some reason have them, but that's what I'm going to do. Go ahead and take this off, and then I got to take this one off too. Alright, so I wasn't sure what size this was, but I had some vice grips, so I just grabbed those vice grips, and then on the other side is a 15. So you got to hold this nut while you turn the other side in order to get it off. Alright, so this is a 13, and I have a little extension on it, and I'm going to go ahead and take that off. Okay, and then on the other side, I went with a lot longer of an extension, because I didn't really have any room to ratchet unless I had a longer extension. Alright, you can see here I have one loose and the other one taken off, and down here I have it completely off, but the bushing's kind of keeping it in. So I'm just going to take a little pry bar right here and kind of just try to pop the shock out of place. That's the goal. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Alright, so here's the BILSTEIN shocks. You can see them right next to each other. If you look, the BILSTEIN shock is maybe about an inch more as far as mounting points. So that will give me an inch more of travel, and then which will be better than what was on there. But hopefully this won't limit any of my flexing. So now I'm going to install it, and first thing I'm going to try to do is get the eyelets on. Okay, you can see there how it's just kind of hanging. So I'm going to tighten up that bolt a little bit, and then I'm going to go ahead and put the other one on. Alright, so I got both of those 13mm bolts in there. They're kind of loose, so you can wobbles, that's fine. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to compress this shock and get it to line up here and get the bolt to line up with it. Alright, so let's try this again. So I tried to have the shock up there held in place, and then kind of just push this into place, but that was too hard, even with someone trying to help me line it up. So I'm going to try to go the other direction first. Put this side in first, and then go ahead and compress this and put it up there, and we'll see how that works. Alright, so that was 10 times easier. So my suggestion is bolt it in down there first, leave one of these loose, slide it into place, and then you'll have to go in and put that other bolt in. But this got on a lot easier now that I did that. So I'm going to go ahead and finish installing this. Alright, so got it all installed, tightened up. Everything's tightened up there. I took off my limit straps, left the bolts there just in case for some reason I decide to put them back on. So the next step is I got to throw on my wheel, and we'll see if I actually need to lift up the vehicle a little more, or if I lift it up enough. We'll see. Alright, so I'm moving on to the fronts now. So the front is going to be a 13mm bolt, and then there's a nut underneath. And it looks like a previous owner swapped this out for a different nut and bolt, so I'm not sure if that's going to be 13 or not, but there should be a nut and bolt underneath. And then, so 13s, and then up above, right here, is going to be a 14. So I'm going to go ahead and loosen up all of that, and the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to go ahead and put my 13 up on top. I'm actually going to come in from the bottom like this, and then I'm going to take my other wrench and then hold it right there, and then go ahead and take it off. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Okay, you can see I have them completely out now. Here they are. And then the next thing that I'm going to be doing is I'm going to take a 14mm wrench, and I'm going to be coming to this right here, and pretty much just going to be loosening that up. And I already started, so it's already finger tight, or finger loose I should say. And then I'm going to go ahead and take this off. Now I have aftermarket fenders and these aftermarket liners. I don't have a stock TJ in front of me, but I believe that this would actually be covered, but there'd be an access hole to it, either on this side or on both sides. But if you can't get to that nut and bolt through the top, then your other option is to come through the side right here and hold it. Alright, so now that the bolts are all out, basically what you got to do is grab your shock and then try to pull it up, and then take it out. Let me see if I could set up the camera to where you guys could see that. Alright, so I have it out. Like I said, I just have to kind of pull it out and then everything comes off. Now I'm going to take off my limit straps. So if you watch this far through the video, you might be wondering why I'm taking off the limit straps. I know I mentioned it earlier, but basically what a limit strap does is it keeps your suspension from moving any farther than it needs to. I don't know if these were properly installed or not. I don't know if the measurements were taken correctly, so I'd rather just have them off than lose out on an ability to be able to flex more. But your ideal situation is to go ahead and drop your suspension as much as possible with the shock in place, and then what you're going to do is you're going to measure that distance basically from your mounting point. So they mounted from here to here, and then you're going to want to take about an inch of travel out, and that's going to help save your shocks. And then you get a strap that is going to attach to take away that 1 inch of travel out, and then that way you could completely articulate minus the 1 inch, but that's going to save your shocks in the long run. So I'm going to go ahead and take these off now. Alright, so now I have the new front shock next to the one that I removed. What's interesting about this one is if you look, I have the bottoms lined up, but then when you come up here to where the mounting point is, BILSTEIN's actually shorter by an inch, whereas on the rears the BILSTEINs were longer by an inch. These BILSTEINs are meant for 3 to 5 inches of travel, or 3 to 5 inches of lift, and I have a 4-inch lift, so I'm not too concerned about it, but I do find it interesting that these are a little bit shorter in length. Now this stock one has a little bit of a bump in it, and or a dent in it, so I'm not sure how much that really affects it. There's a part number on here. I might look up where this what this part number goes to, see if it's just part of the rough country lift, because I believe that's what this is a rough country lift, or if it's something different. But in order to install these, the easiest thing to do is to basically, hold on, let me get the camera set up here. The easiest thing to do is you're going to fish this through. You're going to have it come up through there, and then push it into place. But before you do any of that, you need to put your bushing and washer on. Alright, so BILSTEIN provides the bushings, the little washer plate, and a new nut for the top. So we're going to take this, drop it on there. We're going to take the bushing, drop it on there, and then now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and slide this up into the hole like so, and then the next step is going to be to compress the shock to get it in there. Let me see if I could set up the camera again so you guys can see that. Alright, hopefully you guys can see. But I'm just pushing this up into place. Grabbing the shock and pressing it, and then sliding it on. Alright. So you can see I pushed that up, and then that slid into place. And these are down there. So the next thing is we're going to go up to the top, I should say. Let's do that real quick. We're going to drop in the rubber bushing right there. And then we're going to take this little sandwich plate, put it on right there. And then this nut will go on over the top, and it's a nylon. Oh, dropped it. Alright, so I have the nylon nut on there. And then what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to get an Allen key and insert an Allen key into that hole. So you can see there I have an Allen key, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come in from the opposite side. Oh, this is a different size. This isn't the 14 that was on there. It's gonna be bigger. I believe it's a 15. Could be a 17. But the idea is you hold the Allen key and then you turn that on tight. Alright, I kind of wanted to let you guys see what I did is I put the Allen key in there so that it is up against my fender liner, and then that way I don't have to hold it. Then it's just a matter of coming in here and tightening this up. I'm trying to make sure that I at least just go past the threads, go past those nylon threads right here. Once I do that, then it's going to be tight enough. You got to remember the weight of the vehicle is pretty much going to be pushing down on this, so very unlikely that it pops through. I just want to make sure that I can get past this nylon on the nut, because that's what locks it in place. Alright, I'm going to call that good. So now I got to back off my Allen wrench, and then... Alright, now pretty much just going to be the reverse. We're going to drop in our bolts on each side, and then we will tighten them up, and that will be the install of your front and rear shocks. Go ahead and get this on. Alright, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Completely installed up there, installed down there. Hopefully you guys like this video. Keep tuning in, hit like and subscribe. Thank you.